High Heels and Hidden Truths. I'm Vanessa Murphy, investigative reporter at KLAS TV in Las Vegas. Today, we are going to revisit the murder of Candice Harris by her own husband, Aaron Harris. This is a case that dates back to 2020. We are recording this in November 2025. We recently had what appears to be a resolution, the close of this criminal case, but let's show you how it all began.
The coroner says a woman found dead inside her vehicle Thursday night is 43-year-old Candice Arlene Bradford of Las Vegas. The vehicle found around 11 o'clock in the area of McCormick Road and East Galleria Drive. Henderson PD say they have arrested 49-year-old Aaron Latrell Harris Sr. and charged them with her murder. The coroner says Bradford was strangled to death. Henderson police have not given any additional details about the murder. They do ask anyone with information to please call Crime Stoppers.
Now, you heard Candice referred to with the last name Bradford. We have also seen her referred to as Candice Harris in court documents. You saw that booking photo of Aaron Harris right there. So typically when we learn about a case like this, we may put in a request with the Las Vegas Metro Police Department to interview the suspect in jail. We may reach out to the coroner's office to find out more about the cause and manner of death. We also ask for more documentation from the coroner's office. We also pull court documents to learn more about the case. In some cases, we reach out to the victim's loved ones in case they want to talk about their loved one. Perhaps sometimes they might want to vent about the suspect. So those are some of the ways we work to investigate these cases from a reporter angle. And also, I want to let you know more about the court process. Typically, there are two options, right, that we follow here in Las Vegas when a case like this is taking place. Typically, a prosecutor can choose to follow through with a judge, do a preliminary hearing, see if the case is bound up, meaning does it move forward, or they may present evidence to a grand jury. These are secret proceedings. Then the grand jury decides, should this person be charged? What should they be charged with? So those are the two routes. In this case, the prosecutors took it to the grand jury. We pulled that evidence. But first, let's take a break. Welcome back to High Heels and Hidden Truths. I'm Vanessa Murphy, Las Vegas investigative reporter. Today, we are revisiting the murder of Candice Harris at the hands of her own husband, Aaron Harris. This is a tragic story. We do know that Candice Harris had children. Certainly, our thoughts go out to them. We know that this case must have been extremely difficult, especially listening to the details. So again, our thoughts go out to them. Now, from our end, as I explained, for reporting, we typically try to dive into the case, perhaps pull court documents, pull records from the police if those records are available. In this case, we obtained evidence that was presented to the grand jury. The grand jury made the decision to indict Aaron Harris. Take a look.
I'm just driving around looking for my wife.
September 24th, 2020. Aaron Harris reports his wife as missing. He claims she texted him with concerns about a stranger she crossed paths with while running errands.
So at this point, are you suspecting some kind of foul play based on the text messages that you were receiving from her?
Yeah, I mean.
And now you're not able to make contact?
I can't make no contact with her. I've been FaceTiming her, calling her, just everything.
Metro Police detectives show up at the couple's home near the Las Vegas Strip.
Did you guys have a fight today? Who? You and your wife?
No.
The body of Candice Harris was found in her SUV in a desert area in Henderson. 2 days later, Aaron Harris is arrested for murder. Henderson police say they found evidence in a second home near Lake Las Vegas. The 43-year-old woman's scrubs she appeared to be wearing the day she was killed. Cellophane possibly used to strangle her, and GPS information. Aaron Harris was previously accused of molesting children.
prison. While he waited for that case to proceed, he was granted bail and electronic monitoring. Detectives say when Harris claimed he searched for his wife at multiple locations, his GPS coordinates reveal he was lying. When his wife's SUV was pulling out of that Lake Las Vegas home, the GPS coordinates reveal he was in her car, and he was also tracked to the scene where her body was found.
Yes, I do have a GPS on, but this GPS only shows you my coordinates. This GPS isn't an eyewitness.
While he awaits trial, Aaron Harris talked with the I-Team from jail.
Did you kill your wife?
No, ma'am.
He claims he found his wife's body, but never mentioned that to two different 911 operators.
At that point, I'm traumatized. I found my wife, the love of my life, dead.
So
I'm in.
But at no point in that call did you say you found her, right?
No, in that call, I was traumatized.
He claims the allegations of sex crimes against children aren't true either.
Are you a pedophile?
No, ma'am. There's no history of none of this in my life. I know it looks crazy, but the world looks crazy, but the facts always gonna stand strong.
He says he plans on representing himself in court.
I love my wife. I miss my wife, and I pray that she's gonna prevail through all of this. That's my wife,
How will she prevail, though?
We're gonna find out who killed my wife.
Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
So you see there Aaron Harris speaking with us from jail. He was arrested. We put in the request. Then Metro staff at the jail would go to the inmate and say, hey, Channel 8 wants to talk to you. Do you agree for them to film? The inmate says yes or no. They have to sign a form. In this case, he said yes. So we went and spoke with him. I don't know about you, but I did not think that he was innocent after that interview. He wasn't crying about the death of his wife. Certainly people grieve in different ways, and I try to go into these interviews with an open mind. But the emotion sort of raised questions. And let's just revisit the fact he's arrested. He's on electronic monitoring with GPS coordinates, letting police know his every move, right? So they can go back and see the data. They find his wife's body. His GPS coordinates match the crime scene. What do you think? Let's take a break. Welcome back to High Heels and Hidden Truths. I'm Vanessa Murphy, investigative reporter at KLAS TV in Las Vegas. Today we are revisiting the murder of Candice Harris by her own husband, Aaron Harris. Police find her body. This was in 2020. Aaron Harris is later arrested. Police trace his every move because of GPS coordinates on the electronic monitoring because he was out on bail for a previous case. Police pull evidence of Candice Harris. She's on surveillance video before her murder. Again, they tie him to the scene. He's arrested. He agrees to speak with us in jail. And I want to play a much larger portion of this interview from jail. It's interesting. Look at his body language. Listen to his answers. Let's take a look.
Are you a pedophile?
No, ma'am. There's no history of none of this in my life.
And now fast forward to this murder case. What do you want to say about that?
Well, I found my wife in that position, so it's unfortunate what I'm going through right now, but like I say, I just need someone to investigate it. The officer said they would do a thorough investigation, and which they didn't. They clearly told me that me being the husband, I would be the first suspect, which is not a problem. They said they'll do a thorough investigation. They didn't. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that this is happening this way. But like I say, I definitely feel I prevail in the end because the facts are the facts. And I have the facts on my side, you know. I don't know what occurred. I just found my wife like that.
So they're saying they matched the GPS coordinates from your electronic monitoring bracelet to the crime scene.
To where the body was. I was on my way to Henderson Hospital on Galleria. You know, I do suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. I had a panic attack. I mean, blacks are being killed every day by the police, so I was afraid to call the police. I pulled over, had a panic attack, and, you know, got out the car. I mean, that's not going to show a crime. That just showed that I took my wife there, had a panic attack, got out and ran.
Did you kill your wife?
No, ma'am. I'm innocent until proven guilty. Circumstances is circumstances. I mean, someone can say something about you. I can get a whole media against you, but the whole time, it can be a lie. You know, what's false is false. Everybody can believe something is false, but at the end of the day, it's still false.
Do you, I guess when you were granted permission to have that electronic monitoring, were you surprised that you were given that opportunity, or?
No, I shouldn't even, I feel I shouldn't even been arrested. All they had to do was investigate it. If they investigated, they would have seen who was behind it. You know, my wife clearly stepped forward, clearly, you know, said that it was a bunch of bull. We looked at our videos of where we stayed. There's no such allegations as this. We got eyewitnesses that was there at the place at the time of the argument. You know, they just went off of that. I mean, I'm born and raised out here, so when they heard my name, instantly they jumped on it. They didn't do no investigation. The report was wrote on the 21st. I was arrested on the 22nd. Someone did this, you know, in which they clearly know someone did this, but they're not even investigating it.
It could be difficult to disprove the information about the GPS coordinates, though, right, with that ankle monitor?
I'm not trying to disprove it. I don't have to disprove that. I mean, if the GPS had a video on it, it'd show where I was at. You know, at my home, I was in my studio, so I know exactly where I was at. It's just, I didn't even supposed to be at the house at the time because I had COVID. So if you look at my phone, which I don't have no access to my phones or nothing like that, I called my wife when she got off work. She didn't answer. And that was me heading to the house to clean it up. I cleaned it up on Thursdays and Sundays. And she ended up calling me back at 1:30 while I was, you know, cleaning. And I just gave her a thumbs up. So the whole time she thinks I'm at the high rise. I have two places.
Who would want to kill your wife then?
Ma'am, that's something that we really is going to have to find out because I found my wife like that. So there's something else going on from the point of me getting my last text and me finding her. And I'm praying, you know, it's stuff buzzing up in here, you know what I mean? I don't know how true it is. I'm trying to get an investigator on that. You know, I can't say too much about it because I don't know for sure, but supposedly, you know, someone basically came clean about a similar situation, so, but I can't even get no assistance on that.
So when you called and said something was up and she said this man said something to her and gave her a weird look, that was before you're saying you found her body or after?
I found my wife after the football game, so the football game was over around 8-something. So that's when I found my wife.
But you called 911 at some point, right? To report concerns about her. So what time did you call?
That was probably around 9, but at that point I'm traumatized. I found my wife, the love of my life, dead.
So you,
I'm in.
But at no point in that call did you say you found her, right?
No, in that call, I was traumatized. I was urged to call from one of my friends, in which he's like, "Look, man, just call." You know, I was like, "Dude, how am I going to explain this to police? You know, they're already killing blacks. You know what I mean? They're not going to believe me." He's just like, "Man, please, just call." call him, man. Please call him. So I went ahead and called him, and I just gave them the information from the last text I gave him.
But in that phone call, it makes it seem like you have no idea what happened to her.
Well, that clearly was proven by the detectives. They said that from day one that, hey, we don't believe that. From the gate, he said that. I'm like, dude, I was, like I say, I was traumatized. They said that from the gate. So now my thing, if you don't believe what I'm saying, just investigate what happened. That's all you got to do. They didn't do it.
How concerned are you that you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison if convicted?
Some things you just have to look at when it comes to the law. The law is about facts. The law isn't about assumptions. The law isn't about hearsay, So an example would be, yes, I do have a GPS on, but this GPS only shows you my coordinates. This GPS isn't an eyewitness to anything. I can explain my mental illness. It's on record. It's on file. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. You can go to my physician and see that, But that GPS is the only thing that they're going off of. You still need 2 eyewitnesses. You still need some type of forensic, some type of scientific evidence in which they took all of this, and they don't, and the fingerprints didn't even match up to be me.
What do you want to?
Someone else is involved.
What do you want to say about your wife?
I love my wife. I miss my wife, and I pray that she's going to prevail through all of this. That's my wife,
How will she prevail, though?
We're going to find out who killed my wife.
Anything you want to add?
Like I said, man, I'm staying prayed up, and it's going to work out. It has no choice. Like I say, you got people, it's buzzing up in here right now that someone has spoke of or described my situation. So I don't know if this is a person that's trying to come forward or what, but I tried to get some investigators just to look into that, and nobody did that. So I don't know if this person's still here or not or what, so I'm just praying that somebody will look into this. I mean, I know it looks crazy, but the world looks crazy, but the facts always going to stand strong.
So the friend you talked with, after you said you found her body, and the friend said, we'll just call, what's that friend's name?
I'm not going to give his name up. This is about me, but it's in the records. They have that on file. I'm certain he would be one of their witnesses, to come in just to confirm that, but I have no problem with telling the truth on that, I panicked. I don't know who's ever been in a situation like mine, finding the love of their life dead, I panicked. I could have did things different now today that I can sit back and look at it, but, having post-traumatic stress disorder, and having the fear of the police killing you, you're going to do things different. And I did things different.
That was Aaron Harris speaking with us from jail in 2021. He killed his wife in 2020. So that interview was after his arrest. Again, he spoke with us from jail. We followed the story, and you can see his answers. They don't add up. Why do the GPS coordinates match the murder scene? His answer, the GPS is not an eyewitness. Okay. Why on 911 calls are you not saying you found your wife? Doesn't make sense. So there was a lot that did not add up. I do want to share with you, after I did that interview, I heard from loved ones of Candice Harris. They were not happy with me. They felt like we gave him a platform. My job was to try to interview him, to try to find more about the truth here. Then fast forward to this year. Aaron Harris goes on trial for murder. Prosecutors play that interview for the jury. He is in the middle of trial, and he must have realized things were not looking good for him. he may have gone to prison for the rest of his life. In the middle of that trial, he enters a guilty plea. The charges: murder with use of a deadly weapon, lewdness with a child under the age of 14, and sexual assault. Because of that plea deal, the sentence is not life in prison without the possibility of parole. Here is his booking photo from the Nevada Department of Corrections. He is at High Desert State Prison. Let me tell you, not only do you not want to be in prison, you do not want to be in High Desert State Prison. He is there now because he killed his wife. His sentence is 32 years to life in prison. He received credit for time already served in jail. You saw him in jail there wearing the mask. This all started around the pandemic. So he has a chance to possibly leave prison, but he is 54 years old now. If he gets that chance, that first chance, he'd be around the age of 80 years old. Aaron Harris killed his wife. He is serving time in prison. He will not get out of prison for a very, very long time. Thank you so much for joining us for High Heels and Hidden Truths. I'm Vanessa Murphy.